Hi, hello there, YouTube.
Thought you weren't going to see me this month. Well, I'm here giving you a video as part of Monster Month. I thought, why not, because we've had a lot of monster reviews from Frankenstein. Today I thought I would give you a top 10. And this is top 10 Universal monsters. So these are all monsters from Universal. So yeah, you can expect Frankenstein and Dracula all to be in there. And, I'm going to go out here and say that, not just these like old classic black and white monsters. I'll be delving into like later installments of films that were produced and done by Universal. So let's get it underway, shall we, and do the rest of the chin wagging. So, at number 10 is The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man. Yes, from 1933, played brilliantly by Claude Rains. I like The Invisible Man. How he wraps himself up and looks like a mummy. And it's a pretty cool cosplay as well, if you want to play The Invisible Man. And the effects for its time were pretty cool as well, I thought. Thinking, God, how do they do that back then in 1933 without the visual effects? Yeah, The Invisible Man. At number 9 is The Thing. The Thing, the 1982 film The Thing. Yes, this was done by Universal, and it's a remake of a 1951 film, but this is a rare remake that's better than the original. Now, when this movie first came out, I'm aware that it got crapped on a lot, but it has gained the cult status since. And all the visuals and practical effects they used were very cool for its time. They were very good effects to say they weren't computer generated, and they should never ever digitally remaster this movie. I will not even watch it if they do that. It's fine the way it is. I did like the 2011 prequel, but that relied too much on CGI. But this one, it didn't. It was all stop motion and puppetry, and I thought that was great. Yeah, The Thing. At number 8 is The Phantom of the Opera, The Phantom of the Opera, from the 1925 film starring Lon Chaney as the Phantom. Now, Lon Chaney is known as the man with many faces because he always applied his own makeup. Yeah, he always applied his own makeup, and yeah, sometimes would make himself really uncomfortable, and sometimes would, be in a bit of discomfort with the makeup he was wearing, but he always put that aside to put on a great show. And in this, the makeup on here, yeah, I can see it was probably scary back in 1925, but I've never found the look scary. But still, great effects though, makeup wise, and that's nearly 100 years ago as well. At number 7, it is The Mummy. The Mummy. Yes, not the 1999 remake, even though that was a pretty good one. I'm on about the 1932 original where Imhotep is played by the great Boris Karloff. And yeah, I've only seen that film a few times, but I've seen enough of it to see how good Boris were in this. And I really enjoyed that one. I like the makeup effects they used for it too. How he looks like a mummy but then slowly regenerates and looks more human. It's a good classic. So yeah, The Mummy. And if you was a mummy, your daddy would be a mummy too. At number 6 it is The Gillman, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now I've seen this not that many times, but looking at it, it had pretty much good visuals for the costume. It took 2 people to play this creature, one from on land and another one for when he's underwater. And yeah, I mean, it's very dated now, but the effects for it look pretty good back then. And yeah, I remember being a kid watching this movie at my grandma's, and it made me afraid to go in like ponds in the sea and everything. So yeah, having that effect on me as a kid. Yeah. And as a kid, I didn't really like that whole water monster thing, having them drag you under the water, killing you, drowning you. At number 5, it is The Shark, Jaws. Yes, Jaws, from the movie Jaws, the great white shark. Now, this shark they named Bruce, And originally they wanted to show more of the shark, but they had technical problems with it, so they had to show very little as they could, which Steven Spielberg, the director, hated at that time, but he later changed his mind because it brought him in. It made it even better. It made it suspenseful. You know it's a shark. You know that it's a big fish with big teeth. And the way they reveal the shark in the film, as a kid, I remember watching this and not being scared, but being amazed by it. I genuinely thought this were a real shark. And I loved it. Yeah, I've always had a fascination with sharks ever since then. And this is inspired by true events. I'm not saying it's a true story, but it was inspired by a real life event that occurred in 1916. And it even changed the way people look at the sea and go into the water from then on. And Jaws kind of changed the way films were marketed after that as well. Classic. And they should never ever dare remake it. They got away with some of the sequels. Jaws the Revenge, draw the line there. At number 4, it is The Bride of Frankenstein. Now, I watched this movie, and when I watched it, I'll admit, I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get to see enough of the bride. She's in like the final act of this film, but even then, her appearance, her look, stayed behind my eyelids long after I saw the film. Played by Elsie Lancaster. For her being a monster creation, she looked beautiful in this with her wacky hair and her white gown and that. Yeah, I just really, like the look of her, and it's a shame we didn't get to see her enough in the film. But she made those. I think they made it count. I just wish they could have done it a bit more, because the movie builds it all up to this final conclusion in the film. But yeah, I do like the makeup and the effects they used for her. We're in the classic 30s ones now. At number 3, it is Dracula, played to perfection by Bela Lugosi, Hungarian actor who unfortunately got typecast in his role. But like Dracula, he is now immortal, and about 9 decades later, people are still watching it, people are still talking about it. He invented the modern trope for Dracula, how he's portrayed with the European accent, I am Dracula, with the long cloak and the aristocratic look. There was an adaptation before, Nosferatu, but, I don't really consider that a Dracula movie. I consider it a Dracula rehash, but in my personal opinion, I don't consider it a Dracula adaptation. Plus, they changed the names of the characters and everything. But Bela Lugosi as Dracula, brilliant. And at number 2, it is Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein. Yes, played by Boris Karloff. He looked fantastic with the makeup, and he would sit about 16 hours a day in the hot Californian sun in all that makeup. And back then, the actor got no say. It was either do the job or get paid. And, I got to give it to him. Boris, managed to put up a great show playing this creature, even though it was red hot for him, and he was just fantastic playing it. And I love the makeup they used for it at the time. And again, this created the modern look for Frankenstein's monster, how we see it today. Green with flat top, bolts in the neck. Yeah, Frankenstein's creation. Of course, in that movie, I consider Frankenstein the real monster for how he treated the creation. See, I don't even think of the creation as the monster. I think Frankenstein's the real monster for rejecting him and not knowing the consequences, being aware of the consequences of his actions. And number 1, it's the only one I haven't said yet. It is the Wolfman. Yes, the Wolfman, Larry Talbot. Now, when I was a kid, again, back when I was a kid, because by then a lot of these horror movies were very tame and were parental guidance rated. I remember watching this movie and being amazed by the transformation. And looking at it, I thinking, wow, that's cool. I wanted to be the Wolfman. I wanted to be a werewolf myself. You know, my own little wolf boy. And yeah, I just love the effects and the makeup they used for the time in 1941. The story, it's okay. But, you know, I just love the look of the Wolfman. I thought the 2010 remake was way better, but that relied too much on digital effects. This had practical stuff in there, and you know, Lon Chaney Jr. went on to reprise the role in other films, including like the Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Yeah, Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. Number one, it's inspired me to, you know, it's because of this I love werewolf movies. And how I've grown a fascination with the creature. So there you are, my top 10 Universal monsters. So there you go. So have you seen the? Well, no. What is your favourite Universal monster? How would you rank these top 10? What are your top 10 or top 5s? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and to share with your friends. And yeah. This has been Top 10 Universal Monsters, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of Monster Month on this channel, and I'll be seeing you all in Feb, you know, because like I say, a lot of pre-recorded content I've done for, you know, whilst I move and everything. Anyway, yeah, until next time, don't have nightmares.